Page 44, the Merry Widow Waltz, a very famous melody. You can read all about the guy up there as someone talk about the music. Look it over, it's about a page and a half long. Treble bass clef, one sharp in the key signature, so it's either in G major or E minor. If we look at the end, you're here. That's G major. I figure we're in G major. But do the scales for both. G major and E minor, yeah. One octave. Now, if you've been doing the scales like you're supposed to, and you're comfortable with it, then go ahead and do the 2 octaves. But otherwise, stick with the 1 octave until you're comfortable with the scale and playing it. And by that, I mean you can play it evenly, and you don't have to look at the keyboard. You can feel your way through it. Yeah. Doesn't have to go fast. You don't go fast on the scales right now. Keep them slow. 3/4 time, which makes sense if it's a waltz, so 3/4 time. Let's take it one hand at a time, make sure we understand what the hands are doing. We're moving around a little bit. Here, 1, 2, here. So we're sort of in this position. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Not too bad. Okay, so much for that. Let's go over to measure 17. Well, measure 16, you're here. And then measure 17, they went here. 4th finger again. Yuck. No, I don't want to do that. Well, I'll use 4 on both. So I adjust the fingering. Duh. Well, on measure 13, if I play 4th finger here, I can, while I'm holding that down, because I'm holding it down for 2 measures, I could put 3rd finger on it while I substitute here. And this way, when I'm going on, I can do a 5 and then 4. Because there's 2 E's in measure 17. A repeated note, I can change position. So I'm going to recommend you do that. Now you don't really have to do the substitution. You can stay there if you want and just reach up here. But otherwise, do the finger substitution so you're a little closer to where you want to be. I don't know how big your hands are, so. And then crunch up. And then measure 25. Now they've got you doing here a measure 27. Again, you're crossing over. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't like crossing over the thumb if I don't have to, so I adjust the fingering so I don't have to. So if I start with measure 27 and just cover all these notes, forget the rhythm, just the notes, here, 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 and here. It's an E7 chord. I get it all in this fingering, so I'm just going to finger it that way. So it's 4, 2, 1, and then I can just stay there, 2. I can do the whole thing right there in that fingering. I don't need to cross over the thumb, so that's what I'm going to recommend. So, measure 25, you're here, and then 5, 4, 2, 1. You don't have to cover all the notes constantly. You can relax. That's what I'm going to recommend. Left hand. Your left hand, we get this, what they call a waltz bass. Chuck, 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 chuck thing. And you'll see it occasionally in here. It's very common. If you're into improvising, this is one of the patterns you can use. It's not the only one, but it's one of them. So we're starting at the beginning, just 1, 2, 3. I mean, this is sort of like that. We're just not using all the notes in the chord. 1, 2, 3, 2, 5, 7. Measure 16. They want thumb here. Well, I just had thumb here in measure 15. I'd rather not. I don't want to do that. I mean, you can. There's nothing really wrong with it. I'd just rather not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a third finger's there. I'm going to do a 3rd finger. This measure 16. 3rd, 3, and then a 1. Here. And then I'm in pleasant. Measure 18, C sharp, and then G, B. You don't want to be up in here, you got to do this. Otherwise, the 1, 2 is fine. And then, and these are B naturals now in measure 19 because the flat in measure 18 is only good for that measure. This is measure 23. F sharp, it's in the key signature. And then a B, D sharp. If you don't want to be up in here, again, you can do that. I don't know how big your hands are. Now at the end, last two measures, here you do come down. This is very common. We get this a lot in piano, so we just put up with it. To come down. Even though using the thumb twice, just do it. I mean, you could do that if you wanted. But most of the time, we just come down. Then we put the hands together. Slowly, it's here. The third beat is the right hand alone. You put the hands together. The rhythm really isn't a problem. I'm hoping they're mostly quarter notes. Then I get rid of any hesitations anywhere. I keep it slow, but no hesitations. And then I can add the articulation. This right hand is smooth and connected. And then lift up. So I'm lifting up between the phrases, so like a lift. Otherwise, I'm connecting it. So between measure 16 and 17, it's a new phrase. You lift up. This is how they can go from 3 to here, because you're lifting up. But I still prefer the 5. Lift up. So again, from measure 16, it's here. And then going on, measure 7, you lift up. And then lift up again. Measure 25, lift up. Left hand, you connect these, rest. Don't cut the second note short, it's not staccato. You can do that later, but right now play a full beat on that. Rest, rest. Measure 5, there's staccato. Hinging at the wrist, boom. Going from measure 8 to 9, connect it. The slur really needs to go here. Connect all that together. If I split it, connect them. Same thing on measure 16 and 17. I want to connect those. Connect. So the slur should cross both measures. Then that's so here on measure 4 or measure 8, I'm connecting the left hand, but I'm lifting up in the right hand for the phrase. I'm not going to lift up in both. I don't want all silence. I'm going to connect the left hand. Now for the dynamics, well, they apply to the melody. The right hand, MP, mezzo piano is sort of soft. This left hand is very, well, they give you a PP, you don't need it. You're just going to do it anyway. And then measure 17, you get the MF, go moderately loud. The left hand's still in the background. And then measure 25 back down to moderate and soft. And then hairpin on measure 28, you come to soft. And at the end, when I do that, I want to hear that. Don't drown it out. And this is soft. So this has to be really soft. Speed, I've been playing kind of fast to shorten the video. I've heard this at all kinds of speeds. And moderato, that depends on how you're interpreting it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, it's one way of interpreting it. Sometimes it's felt in 1. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Well, that beat is going crazy, but you would feel it in 1 in that case. It's different interpretations. Go listen to a bunch of recordings of this Merry Widow Waltz, just Google or whatever, and you'll hear all kinds of different arrangements and different speeds, different interpretations. Speaking of interpretations, remember the natural accents? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, all the way through. I'm exaggerating them so you can hear them better. You just want to feel these. They've added pedal at the end. I disagree. I would not put pedal there. I didn't use it anywhere else. I'm not going to introduce it there. So just leave it down. You don't need it. Generally, at the end of a dance like this, you do not slow down because you got people on the floor moving around. Don't change the speed. You mess them up. Just all the way to the end, and then you're done. Let's play it together very slowly and check our notes and rhythms. I'm not going to do any louds and softs. I'll do the staccatos, but not the dynamics. I'll give us 3 counts. 1, ready, go.